Hello, my name is Buddy Dam. I'm one of the 3 Tri-Chairs for the Green Schools Outreach Network. My responsibilities within GSON are for research. I'm not an employee of the school district. I am an engineer and manager for local industry. I do have 2 children in the school district. In Part 3, we noted that some of the nuances of school funding in Ohio result in increases in funding as a community grows. However, the funding rate increase does not grow at the rate required to meet the additional demands on the school system. Reviewing the growth in green, the property taxes we pay, and the local revenue to the schools helps to understand these circumstances. These circumstances occur as a direct result of the school funding laws in Ohio. As a result, school systems are continuously forced to ask their communities for new support. Perhaps this analogy will help to understand how community growth and school funding are connected. This glass represents the city of Green. The water being poured into the glass represents population growth and therefore school demand growth. The depth of the water is intended to represent the level of school funding. In this example, because the sides of the glass are parallel, as the water is added, the depth of water, or school funding, rises proportionally. Unfortunately, this is not the way it works in Ohio. Instead, the glass in Ohio is flared outward. For a fixed amount of additional water, the rate of water depth increase is slowed compared to the glass with parallel sides. This is how community growth and school funding are linked in Ohio. When a community grows, the rate of funding growth does not keep pace with the additional demand on schools. An incremental increase in demand yields less than an increment of additional funds. Let's start by looking at tax-assessed property valuation growth in green. In 1999, there was a little over $4 million of tax-assessed property valuation in green. By 2010, this has increased to over $700 million. The orange line is matched to the right side y-axis. This growth represents a 75% increase, which far exceeds the rate of inflation shown in blue. As homes and businesses move into green, property valuation increases, and of course, demand for school increases. It is estimated that for every new family, 2 to 3 new students enroll in the schools. With all that growth, funding to schools increases, right? In terms of dollars, this is true, but the question is, do the dollars of funding increase at the rate of funding required to meet the additional demand for the schools? And the answer is no. Why is that? A quarter to a third of the property taxes going to green schools are frozen at the dollar amount when they originally passed. So while total valuation increases, green schools only see increases in terms of mills collected on 2/3 to 3/4 of the property value. This is due to House Bill 920 from 1976. As a result, local funding in terms of mills has decreased year by year. At the same time, funding from the state has decreased year by year in terms of mills, and federal funding has been flat in terms of mills year by year and only represents a small portion of our revenue anyhow. This graph shows a history of funding for green schools from local property taxes as well as state and federal funding. The funding here is shown in terms of mills, or dollars per $1,000 of assessed property value in the city of Green. As you can see, local property taxes decayed steadily in the last 9 years. At the same time, the state has continually reduced its funding rate to our schools. Despite strong enrollment growth in Green, we have not been able to pass additional operating funds. The schools have come to the voters 5 times in the last 12 years and been rejected each time. Part of the reason for these rejections is the perception that a taxpayer gets when they review their tax bill. They see their taxes go up and assume the schools are sufficiently funded. This graph shows a 12-year history of the sum of total property taxes for a home in green. The blue line at the top is matched to the right side y-axis and tracks the market value of the home. Every 3 years, property reassessment causes the value to jump. The black bars are the green schools ballot issues, and the red bars are property taxes to the schools mandated by the state school funding process. These 2 bars then represent total property taxes to the schools. The blue, green, and pink bars are for city, for parks, for libraries, etc. Notice the black bars for 2008, 2009, and 2010. Over this assessment period, the dollars going toward green schools ballot issues decays slightly. Overall, the taxpayer is seeing increases in their bill, but as we've seen earlier, this slight decay on an individual property tax bill results in a significant decay of funding in terms of mills to the schools. This figure now shows the 12-year property tax millage history. The black bar shows the mills from Green Schools ballot issues. Note how these mills are reduced over time. In 2001, 13.1 voter-approved mills went to the schools. Those same ballot issues only collected 11.2 mills in 2001. This reduction does not reduce the individual property tax bill much and certainly does not reduce it enough to make up for the appraisal increases. The property owner sees an increase, while the school system does feel this reduction because it's across the board for them. The reason this happens is House Bill 920. In 1976, House Bill 920 was passed and incorporated into the state constitution. This bill freezes the amount of dollars collected against emergency operating levies and some other levy types at the dollar amount when the levy was first passed. So as Green grows in valuation, the dollar amount of some of the school funding issues stay the same and is simply spread over a larger pool of properties. The problem is, of course, that as the number of properties grow, the demand on the schools grow. Some of the mills collected, like the state-mandated mills, remain the same, and so total tax revenue generated against these mills increases. But other mills decay despite the increased demand. The property owner sees their bill go up, and the schools see increased funding, but not to the point where it meets additional demand. In terms of mills, the schools see funding from local property taxes decay. To make matters worse, the state has also been steadily reducing funding in terms of mills to the schools. As Green has grown, the increases in property taxes have not kept up with the demand on our school system. Families move here because the excellent schools serve their children well, and the excellent schools help to protect and grow their investment in their property. Let's summarize the property tax history. It's definitely complicated and messy. Total millage has been steady at about 45 mills. In 2001, 13.1 voter-approved mills went to the schools. Those same ballot issues only collected 11.2 mills in 2010. Individual bills go up as a result primarily of property value growth. Individual property millage to schools decays due to the House Bill 920 effects on a portion of our operating mills. The rate of revenue growth the schools see do not match the rate of demand growth. These factors are the drivers of Green Schools' need for additional operating funds if they are to continue providing the services they do now. Thank you for your time and attention. Please do watch Section 5 regarding voter participation next.